Leave your safe zone and go out there. It's toughening you up, making you better, and putting you in a better situation to be stronger and more resilient in the future. A lot of people don't wake up and think, hey, I know what will solve my problems. Philosophy from the past, which is a shame because that's what philosophy was meant to be. Epictetus, who was a foe of the Stoics, said that philosophers' words are useless if they don't help people who are hurting. Thoreau said that the point of being a philosopher isn't to start a school, but to bring ideas to life and make them work in the real world. We show you Stoicism for Dummies in today's video. Stoicism is more than just a historical gem. It still makes lives better today. To help you incorporate this old philosophy into your modern life, we'll walk you through 9 simple tasks. If you want to become more resilient, the first exercise is a game changer: the 2 types of control. It's very easy. Things happen in the world, and you have very little control over them. All the things you can control that happen in a thought. This is what the Stoics call the dichotomy of control. We can do some things and can't do others. Epictetus, who used to be a slave and knew a lot about bad things that could happen, said that the most important thing in life is to figure out what we can control and what we can't. This is also what makes the Serenity Prayer so great. Is it up to me? That's the question. Then it should get all of your attention and energy. In the event that you have no control over or effect over something, then it doesn't matter to you. You can only control a very small part of what might happen. Stoicism and writing in a journal go together like peanut butter and jelly. They're the same. You should know that Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations for himself. It's his private journal. Keeping a journal helps me think straight. I use it to focus myself, remember things, and work on myself. Seneca discusses the importance of putting each day up for reflection. That's really important. You can't get better until you take a good, honest look at the last 24 hours and see who you've been. So I want to look at what I did wrong and how I can fix it. The pages in my journal are only for me. I'll never show anyone. I don't even look at them very often. But putting them down helps me get better. Some of you will find the next exercise easy, but watch as it makes you feel a lot more confident. Prepare for hardship. The Stoics talk about working out hard in the winter. Epictetus says that you must go through hard winter training, which means putting yourself out there and purposefully making yourself unhappy. This is because you are preparing for the inevitability of discomfort and trouble in the future. This is what the Stoics do. Their names were out there. They were going to jump into the cold. A small coat would be on them. They didn't buy any needless extras. For the inevitability of what life had in store for them, they wanted to toughen up. So go outside if it's cold. Take a cold shower. Leave your safe zone. This is really toughening you up and improving you, putting you in a better situation, and most importantly, making you more strong and resilient in the future. Have you ever felt overwhelmed? Exercise 7 is your secret weapon against daily stresses. Train how you see things. Of course, how we see things does matter. Think about what you say to yourself and how that affects your life, according to the Stoics. In some ways, that's the most important and first step. The idea behind it is that the world is real. There isn't really a good or bad, positive or negative thing. He wrote, "Neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so." Events can be measured. We explain to ourselves what they mean. Right? We make up a story about them. There is no such thing as good weather or bad weather, a falling market or a bull market. It's just the market and the weather. As people, it's our job to react to that. We give things names, of course, so we can easily find them. But we need to know that what we can do about them depends on how we see them and what we tell ourselves about them. Saying things like, something is unfair, something is not your fault, something sucks, something is impossible, or the impossible cannot be done. can make things happen. The next exercise is a gift for people who want to find peace within themselves in a crazy world. Remember that it's all temporary. One of the most beautiful lines from the Stoics is my favorite exercise from them. The Colossus of Rhodes, the aqueducts, and the Colosseum are not being talked about by Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius is writing about how a grain stalk bends under its own weight, or the sound a grape makes when it is picked. That's what he means by furrowed brow. So he would have seen that in the horrible death in the Colosseum, do you understand? But what he's seeing, he's looking for beauty in a place that should be violent, nasty, and dark. Do you agree? When you do that, you shouldn't say things like, "Oh, look at that pretty sunset." Instead, you should say things like, "Look at the lines on this table." Like, how did they do that? Or looking for it in everyday things. Looking for peace. The future exercise is a safe place to be calm when things are going badly. Look down from above. It was his favorite thing to zoom out. He would zoom out really far. He would try to picture himself in space, on top of a mountain, flying with wings above the earth. He also said that everything looks very small when you look down. He says, like little ants fighting over food. His goal was to humble himself, slow down, and get rid of stress, even though he was the leader of the largest kingdom in the world. That's part of what I get from seeing a big sunset like that. It's so much bigger and more beautiful than anything I could ever make. It's not even trying to do that, just accident, right? That's why we look for these encounters. We get lost in what Pierre Hadot, a Stoic philosopher, calls the oceanic feeling, which means that we feel like we are a very small part of the vastness. And this is what grounds us, calms us, and gives us the view we need to go back into the world and do what we need to do. Number 7 is to think about your own morals. His name is Marcus Aurelius, and the journal is called Meditations. He wrote a lot of it here in Budapest, in a Roman camp not far from the city. That makes it even more interesting. He asked himself this question when he wrote Meditations, but he had no idea that we would read it. He adds, "Stop whatever you're doing at this moment and ask yourself, am I afraid of death because I won't be able to do this anymore?" This is what he means by what we do lots of the time. Fear death because you won't be able to play video games anymore. It's because you can't watch porn on your computer, right? Because you can't fight online with people you don't know? Because you can't get drunk or high on your couch? These things don't make me afraid of death. He's telling you not to be scared of death at all. But you should never be afraid of death and then waste your life on things that don't matter. It's even more direct in Seneca. He states, "You are scared of dying, but tell me, is the kind of life you lead any different than being dead?" And a lot of different kinds of life are like death, right? A life full of anger and sorrow, one that's all about you, one that's all about wanting fame, money, or power, and one that's lonely or isolated. These are different kinds of living death. The thought of our own death wakes us up to the truth of the matter. Putting things in perspective helps us see how pointless many of the things we chase are and how much they cost, right? We didn't do things right away. I'll start a family later. I'll follow my dream job later. I'll start that company later. It takes longer and longer for us to be present, so we need more time. Right now, we're not making the most of what we have. We don't want to put anything off. Every day we want to keep life's books in order. This next gem is all about perspective. Watch as it changes the way you think about problems. The name of it is Premeditatio malorum. To expect something takes away your power over it, says Seneca. Things that catch us off guard, things that we don't want to think about or plan for, are the ones that land the hardest. So the Stoics think about bad things ahead of time. They're ready so they can take advantage of the chance to plan, get ready, be resilient, and toughen up before it happens, so fate doesn't hit them too hard when they least expect it. Putting the most likely, most important one at the end of this video. Being able to love and accept yourself is celebrated in this exercise. You're now in the world of Amor, fati. Acceptance is always the first step toward moving forward. You won't be able to move forward if you fight it, deny it, or put the blame on someone else. It's something you can't do, and you can't move on. So this idea of the art of submission was the first thing the Stoics did, but the second step is to love it, or amor fati. You don't run away from it, you welcome it. You state, I don't have to do this, I get to do this. You don't say like Marcus Aurelius did, it's too bad this happened to me. You state, it's fortunate that this happened to me. It's something you accept, run toward, and use. That's how you move forward. Subscribe to our channel if you're interested in learning more about this philosophy. Becoming a member of the channel gives you Stoic tasks every week. This way, you can practice Stoicism into your own life. It already helped so many other people of the channel. So get out of your comfort zone and sign up.